Okay, so get this. You're at the Olympics, right? But instead of those massive stadiums we're used to, you're watching swimmers competing in a polluted river.
Yeah.
And instead of that, super smooth track, runners are dodging obstacles on a bumpy horse racing course.
Wow.
And this isn't some made-up scenario. This was the reality of the 1900 Paris Olympics,
That's true.
a time when the games were just so incredibly different from the spectacle we know today.
Yeah. It's funny because so many listeners asked us to dive into what made those games so peculiar.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the stories we found digging through historical accounts and old sporting archives are unbelievable.
Oh, they're wild.
Yeah.
And we'll get to those crazy stories, but first to set the stage a bit. These games were held right alongside the Paris Universal Exposition, this massive World's Fair.
Oh, yeah. Showcasing all the latest innovations and cultural achievements of the time.
So basically, they were trying to squeeze the Olympics into a giant festival.
Exactly. And the sheer scale of that exposition really overshadowed the games, led to a real lack of focus and organization. And you know what? Some athletes didn't even realize they were competing in the Olympics until they arrived.
Really, can you imagine training for, a major competition and then bam, you're suddenly an Olympian?
Right. Talk about a curveball.
What a shock.
And this really speaks to how haphazard those games were.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't those meticulously planned, globally televised events we're all used to now. And that lack of organization,
Yeah.
that extended to the venues, too.
Oh, yeah. The sources mention swimming in the Seine River.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't exactly sound like an Olympic-sized pool.
Far from it. The sand back then was heavily polluted,
Oh, no.
made for some pretty less than ideal conditions.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Think about it, competing for Olympic gold while trying not to swallow a mouthful of river debris?
Oh, that's awful. So different from the pristine chlorinated pools we see today.
Totally.
And, it wasn't just the swimming venues that were questionable.
Right.
Some of the events themselves sound downright dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. Take the discus and hammer throw, for instance.
Yeah.
They held those near trees, and sometimes stray throws would land in the spectator stands.
Why?
Can you imagine the chaos?
It's a wonder no one was seriously hurt.
Right.
And speaking of dangerous events, the sources mention an obstacle swimming race where athletes had to duck under boats.
Yeah, it sounds more like something out of an adventure novel.
Right.
But that's the thing about the 1900 Olympics. There was this real sense of improvisation and just a blurring of lines between what we consider, traditional sports and then these more unconventional feats of strength and agility.
Yeah, like the sources also mention tug of war as an Olympic event.
I know,
It
right?
seems more like a schoolyard game.
Yeah, but it was really popular back then.
Hmm?
It was actually one of the few events where athletes from different countries competed together on the same team.
Oh, wow.
Pretty interesting considering the strong nationalistic sentiments of the time.
Yeah, so a brief moment of international unity amidst all the chaos.
Exactly.
I wonder if that contributed to the Olympic ideal,
Bringing nations together.
Yeah.
It's possible, even amidst all that disorganization and the unusual events, you can see these little glimmers of what the Olympics would eventually become.
Yeah.
A global stage for athletic excellence and a platform for promoting peace and understanding.
Yeah, and the games definitely weren't short on drama. The story of Alvin Kranzlein, an American track and field star, really stands out.
Oh, yeah, he was incredible. Won 4 gold medals.
Yeah, but one of those victories came with a twist. His teammate, Meyer Prinstein, was actually the favorite in the long jump.
Yeah. He was forbidden from competing in the finals because they were held on a Sunday.
No.
And his university had these strict rules about competing on the Sabbath.
Wow, talk about bad timing. So Kranzlein takes home the gold, but not without some controversy.
Absolutely. And Prinstein's reaction, well, it was far from gracious.
Oh, no. What happened?
He was so furious that he punched Kranzlein out of frustration. Oh, my gosh.
Now, that story you wouldn't hear in today's Olympics.
Absolutely not. And speaking of fascinating tales, there's also the story of Margaret Abbott.
Ah, yes, the accidental Olympic champion.
Right. She was an American art student studying in Paris and just entered a golf competition on a whim.
Right.
Ended up winning, completely unaware that she'd just become the first American woman to win an Olympic gold medal.
It wasn't until years later that her family discovered her achievement.
Wow.
Just highlights how different those 1900 games really were. Imagine winning such a prestigious title and not even knowing it.
That's crazy. It really makes you wonder what other hidden stories might be buried in the history of those games.
Oh, I'm sure there are tons.
And speaking of mysteries, there's one that has captivated historians for over a century.
What's that?
The story of the lost Olympian.
Ah, yes, this one truly captures the enigmatic spirit of those games.
So during a rowing competition, a Dutch team desperately needed a coxswain.
Right, the person who steers the boat and directs the rowers. Right, and they ended up recruiting this young French boy, like estimated to be between 7 and 12 years old, to fill the position.
I know, crazy, right?
A child coxswain.
Yes, and you know what? They won the gold medal.
Really?
Despite the photographs of this boy during the medal ceremony, his name was never recorded, and his identity remains a mystery to this day.
It's incredible to think that someone could achieve Olympic glory and then just vanish into obscurity.
It speaks to how different the games were back then, far less documented and far more chaotic.
Definitely a stark contrast to today's Olympics, where every athlete's journey is, meticulously tracked and celebrated.
Absolutely.
But it does make you wonder, did that chaotic nature contribute to their early appeal?
That is a great question, it seems like. Despite all the disorganization, the 1900 Olympics had a certain charm,
Yeah,
a sense of adventure and unpredictability that you just don't see as much today.
that's true. Perhaps the games resonated with audiences precisely because they were so different, so full of surprises.
Yeah, I think so.
And speaking of surprises, the 1900 games weren't just about, bizarre events and mysterious athletes. They were also a turning point in the history of the Olympics, a time when the games began to evolve and take shape.
It's true.
We were talking about the 1900 Olympics being this turning point for the games.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe they even became, the worldwide phenomenon we know today,
Right.
considering they almost didn't survive.
It's true. Those 1900 games were just riddled with issues.
Yeah.
Threatened to, extinguish the Olympic flame before it could even take hold.
So how did they turn things around? What lessons did they learn from that chaotic experience?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways was that need for a clear identity,
Okay,
lumping the Olympics in with the Paris Universal Exposition.
right.
It just diluted their impact, made it hard for them to gain recognition as a distinct event,
Yeah, it's like trying to perform a play in the middle of a bustling market.
Right.
It's hard to appreciate the artistry amidst all the distractions.
Exactly. And beyond just identity, there was the issue of organization or the lack thereof.
Right.
The 1900 games just highlighted the need for clear rules, consistent officiating, a more structured approach to scheduling and logistics.
So no more discus throws flying into the crowd.
Mad.
Or marathon runners taking shortcuts.
Precisely, they needed to establish some standards if they wanted the games to be taken seriously on a global scale.
And I imagine the chaotic nature of the games raised a lot of questions about fairness
Oh, yeah.
and the legitimacy of the results.
Absolutely. That lack of standardized rules and consistent officiating led to so many disputes and controversies,
Yeah.
which tarnished the reputation of the games.
Yeah, it's like comparing a professional sporting event to a casual neighborhood game. The stakes are higher in a professional setting,
Right.
and the rules need to be clear and enforced.
Exactly, to ensure a level playing field.
Right.
That's a great analogy. And as the Olympics aspired to be this global competition, they really had to adopt a more professional approach. Needed to move away from that improvisation and informality that characterized the 1900 games.
Yeah, so they needed to professionalize to survive.
Right.
But it wasn't all bad, right?
Oh, no, definitely not.
The 1900 games also provided some, glimpses of what the Olympics could become.
Definitely the tug-of-war event where athletes from different countries competed together
Right.
highlighted the potential for the games to foster international collaboration and unity.
Yeah.
It hinted at that idea of sportsmanship transcending national borders, which was pretty powerful.
Yeah, especially in a time of heightened nationalism.
Exactly.
And wasn't the 1900 Olympics also the first time women were allowed to compete?
It was. It was a landmark moment.
Wow.
Only 22 women participated out of almost 1,000 athletes.
Yeah.
But their presence marked a significant step toward gender equality in sports.
That's huge, considering the prevailing social norms of the time.
Yeah.
What events did they compete in?
Women participated in tennis, sailing, croquet, equestrian events, and golf.
Right, golf.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Margaret Abbott,
Oh, right.
the American art student who won a golf competition.
Yes.
Without even realizing it was part of the Olympics.
That's right. She became the first American woman to win an Olympic gold medal,
Wow.
though she and her family remain unaware of it for years.
It's just a reminder that the inclusion of women in the Olympics was still very much in its infancy.
It was.
But it's amazing to see how far women's participation has come since those early days.
It really is. It's remarkable today. Women compete in almost every sport in the Summer and Winter Games.
Yeah.
And they've achieved incredible feats of athleticism and broken countless records.
It shows how the Olympics have evolved
Yeah,
to be more inclusive and reflective of the changing roles of women in society.
absolutely. And this progress, however slow and incremental,
Yeah.
can be traced back to those early pioneers who dared to compete in the 1900 Games.
Yeah, their participation really challenged societal norms
It did.
and helped pave the way for future generations of female athletes.
Absolutely. And it's not just the participation of women that has expanded.
Right.
The number of countries and athletes involved has grown exponentially since the 1900 Games.
It's hard to believe that the 1900 Games had less than 1,000 athletes.
I know.
And today we see over 10,000 athletes from over 200 countries.
It's incredible the Olympics have truly become a global phenomenon.
It is, and it's fascinating to think about how the lessons learned from those chaotic 1900 Games contributed to this growth. It seems like they had to make some significant changes to attract more athletes and countries.
You're absolutely right. The standardization of rules, the professionalization of the organization, the inclusion of more women, and that emphasis on international collaboration
Right.
were all crucial in shaping the Olympics into the global spectacle we know today.
It's almost like those early games were a testing ground.
Yeah.
They had to make mistakes and learn from them in order to figure out what worked and what didn't.
That's a great way to put it. And you could argue that the very imperfections of the 1900 Games, the chaos and the unexpected turns, were part of what made them so memorable and unique.
It's like those early grainy photographs.
Right.
They might not be technically perfect,
Yeah.
but they capture a certain rawness and authenticity that you don't find in modern high-definition images.
That's a great analogy, and it applies to the 1900 Games as well.
Yeah.
They were rough around the edges, but they possessed a certain charm and spirit that is just hard to replicate today.
It's a reminder that sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination.
Mm.
The 1900 Olympics might not have been the epitome of athletic excellence
Right.
or organizational prowess,
But
but they were a stepping stone.
a stepping stone towards a future where the Games would become a global symbol of unity,
Yeah.
sportsmanship, and the pursuit of human potential.
We've spent the last two parts of this deep dive really exploring the 1900 Paris Olympics.
Yeah, a time when the Games were more of a grand experiment than the polished global spectacle we know today.
Exactly, and we've talked about the organizational challenges,
Oh,
the
yeah.
questionable venues, the
Mm.
peculiar mix of sports.
Mhm.
But amidst all the chaos, there were these little glimmers of the future.
Right, you're right. The 1900 Games might not have been perfect,
Yeah.
but they were a crucial stepping stone in the evolution of the Olympics.
So let's talk about those lessons. What did the organizers learn from the 1900 Games that helped shape the future of the Olympics?
Well, for starters, they realized that the Games needed a distinct identity,
Yeah.
separate from, other major events like the Paris Universal Exposition.
Yeah.
Being overshadowed by the World's Fair just made it so difficult for the Olympics to gain any recognition
Right.
and establish themselves as a unique and important event.
Yeah, it's like trying to open a small shop right next to a giant department store.
Right.
You need a way to stand out.
Exactly. The Olympics needed to be more than just a sideshow. They needed to be the main attraction, a global spectacle
Right.
that captured the world's attention.
And that meant addressing all those organizational issues that plagued the 1900 Games.
Absolutely. The chaotic scheduling,
Right.
the lack of standardized rules, inconsistent officiating,
Yeah.
all of these had to be addressed if the Olympics were to gain legitimacy and credibility on an international stage.
Yeah. It's like the difference between an amateur production and a Broadway show.
Right.
The Broadway show has that level of professionalism and polish
Right.
that comes from experience and a commitment to excellence.
That's a great way to put it. The Olympics needed to move from being an amateur production to a world-class event.
And part of that professionalization involved establishing clear and consistent roles
Absolutely.
to ensure fair play and accurate results.
Precisely. No more marathon runners taking shortcuts or discus throws landing in the spectator stands.
Right.
The rules had to be codified and enforced to ensure the integrity of the competition.
And the officiating had to be impartial and consistent as well.
Yes, the judges and referees needed to be trained and held to a high standard. Fairness is at the heart of any competition, and the Olympics are no exception.
So identity and organization were key takeaways.
Right.
But it seems like the 1900 Games also highlighted this potential for the Olympics to be something more than just an athletic competition.
You're right. Even amidst all the chaos, there were moments that hinted at the unifying power of sport.
Yeah.
The tug-of-war event, where athletes from different countries competed together on the same team, was a prime example.
It was a small but significant gesture of international collaboration.
It was.
A glimpse of what the Olympics could become.
Yeah.
This platform for promoting peace and understanding through sport.
Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympics, strongly believed in that ideal.
Yeah.
He saw the Games as a way to bring nations together in a spirit of friendly competition, fostering mutual respect and goodwill.
It's a powerful vision,
Yeah.
and one that has resonated throughout the history of the Games. While the Olympics haven't, eradicated conflict or solved all the world's problems,
Right.
they've provided a space for athletes from different cultures and backgrounds to connect and compete on a level playing field.
Absolutely. The Olympics have served as a reminder that we have more in common than what divides us. And that's a powerful message, especially in times of, global tension and uncertainty.
So looking back at the 1900 Paris Olympics, we see this strange mix of chaos and inspiration.
Yeah, a time of experimentation, a testing ground for what would become the world's greatest sporting event.
And while the 1900 Games might not have fully realized the vision of Pierre de Coubertin, they laid the groundwork for the Olympics to evolve into the global spectacle we know today.
It's a reminder that even the most ambitious dreams can start with humble and sometimes chaotic beginnings.
Yeah.
The journey is just as important as the destination, and the lessons learned along the way are often what shape us the most.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 1900 Paris Olympics, let's appreciate those early games for what they were.
Yeah.
A messy, imperfect, but ultimately significant chapter in the history of the Olympics. And let's remember the lessons learned from that experience. As we look to the future of the Games, the Olympics have come a long way since those early days in Paris. And it's exciting to think about where they might go in the years to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.